Just gonna close the door.
All right. What's happening, everybody, man? Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 28 of Expert Mentors Weekly Live. Man, we're super pumped to have Mr. Albie Stasek and Joe Hollo on to talk a little bit 100-0, the accountability group process that they've been working on within the Chase Stasek organization. So they're going to bring you some real tangible, real life, what's working for them on a higher level of accountability with their team and themselves. So I'm super excited that we're going to be able to bring this to you guys. If this is the first time that you guys are tuning into an Expert Mentors, man, really Expert Mentors is about the tapping into the horsepower that we have within the Honey Badger organization, the Fast Forward movement, and was really brought to life through Al, through Kinder, through Daniel Beer, through Kyle Whistle. And it's like, guys, man, we have so much horsepower, so many amazing human beings within our organization that just love to add value and give back. And that's what Expert Mentors is about. That's what every week is about. If you have not had a chance to catch up on the previous episodes, they're inside of the expertmentors.com tool. They're also in the 10 by 10 Honey Badger Facebook group. You can just search EML and it'll pull all of them up. Like I said, this is episode 28 and we're ready to jump in. So thanks, brother. I appreciate the time to jump in.
This is really 28, episode 28.
28, and it's
when you said that, I don't know if you noticed the big smile that went on my face, man. I can't believe it's episode 28. That is just unbelievable. What a great library that we're putting together.
Yeah, it's
incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible. When you go look at the trainings that are in there, I mean, there's game changer trainings that will change the trajectory of your business, of your life, of your recruiting actions, agent attraction efforts. Everything's in there, and we're still rolling, right? We're going to have a strong finish here to the year. I know Kyle's going to come back around. I know we've got a few others in the pipeline that are going to be adding value as well. So we're super pumped.
Yeah. So we can dig right in here.
Let's jump. Let's do it.
Okay. So for anyone who's followed Mike and Jay and been to some EGSs in the past and maybe seen me speak, I got real passionate about what I call the core of core values. Come on in, Joel. We got our guest celebrity here today, and it was around the premise of 100-0. And that's in case anyone doesn't understand or know what that means. I know there's kind of a different meaning out there. If you Googled it, 100-0 can have a couple different, but our interpretation and the way we have made it our foundation is that it's 100% accountability and 0 excuses. And the first time that I was introduced to this concept of accountability was actually Jay Kinder told me about a video. And you guys can Google the video. John Izzo is actually a speaker, Izzo, and he's just got a great story behind a bank. He was visiting a bank, and he was talking with the president of the bank. It was an extremely successful bank, and he asked him what was the secret and of the bank's success. Why are you more profitable than any other bank in the area? And this and that. And he said it's very simple. It's the power of love. And he goes, power of love? He's like, yeah, power of love. And so he's like, what kind of hanky-panky stuff is this power of love stuff? So he sent him away. He started interviewing the employees, and he would ask the employees the same thing. What's the secret of this Nova Scotia bank or whatever? And he goes, everyone would say it's the power of love. And you're like, what kind of cult is this? But then he was going around and he was seeing a sticker, and the sticker all over people's cubicles was 100-0. And he asked him, what's this 100-0 thing? And he says, that's 100% accountability for customer service, 100% accountability for getting the priorities across, and there's 0 excuses. Everyone's accountable. Everyone owns the outcome, and there's no finger pointing. There's never, this isn't my job. Those are just things that they have eliminated from their vocabulary, which then led to the culture. So the culture of accountability is, there's John Sheplack, a lot of this, he tied a lot of this together when we talked about, eliminating the word why. See, where I messed up with our 100-0, like, it's a great concept, and you could say that everyone wants accountability until they get it, right?
Yep.
And I think that the reason why that happens is because here's what I was doing. I'd have my agents, and they were all, 100-0, 100-0. I mean, we all wear the 100-0 bracelets here. They all wear them, and they're all behind it. But where we messed up as leaders is we said, okay, so you committed to something, correct? Yep. Did you do it? Nope. So what's the first question out of our mouth? Why? Why didn't you do it? I mean, it's kind of like a natural question. Okay, well, why didn't you do it? This is us as a leader trying to hold them accountable. The problem is, as a leader, leaders should eliminate the word why from your vocabulary, because it's a word of judgment. So we're sitting here in one sentence saying 100% accountability and 0 excuses. Then we ask them why. So what are we doing? We're asking them to give us an excuse. And I would sit there and look at my poor agents who were just totally confused as to what they were almost like afraid to answer. Well, you're asking me why, but you don't want excuses. So I was really, working against, the whole process until I had an eye-opening experience of eliminate the word why. And I'm just going off of some notes here because it's a word of judgment. Accountability is observing or noticing without judgment. And it's about becoming a witness, not a judge. And that was just a huge thing. Witness versus judge. Observe without judgment. And so what we're going to kind of go through is, Joel came out, and we went to a mastermind in Las Vegas this year. We knew about these, what we call 100-0 group accountability groups. We implemented them, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, this is our 3rd week.
This is week 3. We've talked to other large teams who had implemented these, and they stopped doing one-on-ones. And we were like, we grew from 9 agents to 36 agents in about 11 months. And we're like, this one-on-one thing is not scalable with one coach. Like, what can we do? And John's like, you got to check out these. He calls them self-directed work groups. We call them 100-0 group accountability groups because 100-0 has been the core of our core values. And so we dipped in and started doing these. And I think what the biggest thing I think we could share with everybody is, kind of a high level overview of what they look like.
Yep.
Then we can give you the step-by-step, literally the blueprint on exactly how to execute these. There's actually rules involved, and we'll go through those. And then I think I think the best thing is the feedback. Joel's actually leading 3 groups of these. My biggest concern going into this was because it's 100% volunteered, by the way, with these 100-0 groups. 100% volunteer. We don't say you have to do them. Of course, they're all independent contractors. You're technically not allowed to tell them they have to do anything. But it's all volunteer. And what did we have? Was it 90%?
99.
99%. We were told that if you got 30% of your agents to do it, that would be a huge win. So we were expecting one group to form. You want to be between 8 and 10 people in a group. No more than 10. It's going to start to get convoluted. We had everyone but one hand go up, and I was in shock.
Yeah, me too.
Seriously, it was really great to see the willingness, because what it boils down to is we basically started out with a question, and the question that I had for our agents was, who in the room believes that you need more training on scripts, dialogues, ninja techniques, or some secret sauce that you don't have right now to get what you want? And I didn't tell anybody to put their hand up yet. Or who feels that they just need to be more consistent and be held accountable to the stuff that you already know? So first group, put your hand up. Who thinks they need more ninja techniques, scripts, dialogues? Second group, put your hand up if you feel like you just need to be. Everyone's hand went up. They all knew that they needed more accountability. And that's huge. You don't tell them. Self-discovery is the highest, it's the most powerful way of of getting someone to do anything. You're not going to motivate anybody to do anything. If they self-discover that they need the more accountability and they're telling you, now you're positioning yourself better as a leader to help them become accountable. And we have the blueprint that seems to be, I mean, at this point, working like a charm. I mean, gotta say, hands off to Shep. This is his brainchild, and you know, we went into it cautiously optimistic because it's just about everything else we've done, you know, that he's guided us to has worked really well. But you know, this is a new territory. So, anyways, now that you don't say why, what was that comment, John?
Yeah, so I wrote that down too when you were talking earlier. Is that, you know, you're not using why. What does that conversation look like? So I think, Nikki, what they'll go through is go through that whole process. I think instead of just answering that out, I think it would be better if we just kind of start at the beginning, go through that whole process, give them that whole framework. So make sure you guys have your notepad and pen, and let's stab some notes through there, and then we'll make sure we get that answered for you, Nikki.
Yep, absolutely. And so, you know, the goal, I think, is to see your organization go from a goal-oriented to a commitment-driven organization. Because when you help people stay committed and keep their commitments, it's number one, it's their commitment, not yours. It's not a goal you put out there and said, okay, guys, this is our goal. No, because we're in, you know, everybody's an individual. Even people that are on teams are individual agents. And it's about their goals. And if you can train someone, or not train them, but if you can partner with them as an accountability partner, which we're going to get into how exactly you do this in the blueprint, and help them get little wins, they're going to be able to then implement. All it is it's just being consistent. And if you can be consistent with getting up at 5:30 a.m. every day, I mean, I believe anyone could really do that if they were committed to doing it. It doesn't take a skill or some talent to get up at 5:30, but if they can get that one thing and get little wins like that, or getting to the gym, or, you know, walking around the block 1 hour, or whatever it is, like these little wins start to form habits, and these habits are going to start to extend into the business. And obviously the goal is that if we can get them wins on these other things, they're going to get wins on following up with clients better and time blocking more consistently. Am I hitting pretty much that?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Cool.
far.
Cool. So Joel, you want to hop into, you know, kind of how we started after we got all the hands raised?
Yeah, no. So the first thing that we did is we created a foundation, right? Our 100 group foundation. I'm going to go, I'm going to have to breeze through this stuff because I know we're limited on time. I've never shared the stage with you guys, by the way. No.
Expert mentors?
One-on-one, but never you guys who've taught me pretty much everything. So this is pretty cool. Anyways, so listen, the 100 group foundation. So let's breeze through this. Number one, attend all weekly coaching sessions unless an excused emergency is approved by the group. And we have these, so we can post these for you guys.
We could just get it up, in the Honey Badger group, right?
Yep.
We'll upload all this, so take notes, but you will get it.
Yep. Okay, so number two, interact and share in all meetings. I know it's stating the obvious, but you'd be amazed. Number three, contribute openly in a transparent and safe environment.
So we don't want people to feel like, it's, there's a lot of trust being built in this room, and it's a closed door deal. And this is where that bonding happens. And we want people to feel that, they're not going to be judged by coming clean with some things that they know that they need to be called out on. That's going to defeat the entire purpose.
Yeah. And this next one kind of like piggybacks with that. So participate in an accountable environment that consists of observing or noticing without judgment. So judge-free zone, checking yourself at the door is probably one of the biggest things.
I think with that, just go ahead, John.
Well, I was going to say there's a really, really good read that had a huge impact on us several years ago by Marley Adams called "Change Your Questions, Change Your Life." That she talks about judger versus learner. That would be a great framework for everybody listening to this to get that mental mindset. It was it did a lot for us. In fact, I mean, I have the roadmap is on our refrigerator. So our kids look at it every day as well. And it's very, very powerful. And a lot of the things you're talking about, that framework goes into really deep details. So it's Marley Adams, Change Your Questions, Change Your Life.
It's awesome, man.
It's funny is I pulled that roadmap out yesterday.
Did you?
Just see it. I just brought it into the office because I found it in my bag. It's funny you bring that up. It is there's a ton of parallels. You're absolutely right.
Yep. All right. So next one down the list, in an open environment, share what has worked for you or what is working or what's not working. And just have openness for supportive feedback.
Yeah. And the feedback that, we say share in a safe environment and observe versus judge, but that doesn't stop some of the people in the group from calling people's bullshit out when they're putting a goal up that we, like the one agent, we won't call him out. We love him. But he said, I'm going to commit to 1 hour of calling a week. Okay. We're not going to judge you, but we are going to observe, like, we know that you could do more than one call an hour. So the group does, support them, but again, not in a judgmental way, more in a supportive, collaborative, come on, man, you got it. And it's really been great for the culture. Yeah, it definitely has. So, and next step is then the feedback that you do receive that don't judge it. Don't look too far into it. Actually look in the mirror and see how it can serve you. Yep. If you recognize that you can support a fellow peer group member in a certain area, then, step up, let them know how you can feel. Reach out to that person if you do feel that it is maybe going to embarrass them, or if they're not taking it right, reach out to them outside of the group. Another way of doing that too is get permission, right? So like in the group, being aware that, instead of blurting out, which sometimes we hear something, we get excited, practice that pause and frame it so that they're comfortable in answering it where they're not feeling judged again. So it could be something like, John, I have something to share. Do I have your permission to go deeper with you on this and give you some feedback? Again, we now get the buy-in and then go and get that feedback, and it comes across more constructive. Yeah, no, it definitely does. So I was going to say something that completely slipped my mind. So, but
God dang, that's huge. That's a huge nugget right there. Hopefully everybody caught that, because, sometimes we come in and we want to conversate, and, people are in the middle of something, they're thinking about other things, and, we try to have that conversation without getting their permission and their minds shut. I know we were introduced to this from Clayton Mask and Mark Chesley, and they called them buckle ups. You got a second to buckle up? No, I don't. But give me about 10 minutes and come back, and I'll be ready. And it's just mentally allow them to be prepared to have that discussion. Buckle up, man. I love that. Yep. Buckle up. So, one thing that when we were doing one-on-ones with the agents, what could easily be overlooked is, maybe we answer their question if they're struggling with something or if they're not getting something. And we kind of breeze through it because, I got it. But when you put peers involved, this is a safe environment for them to say, I'm struggling or I'm not getting it. We, touch base a little bit more on this. And it's pretty cool what ends up coming out of all of that. But if you hide, you will, you're not going to grow and you're going to be found out. So, I think that's the big key there. I love this one for some reason. No food in the room during the session. No distractions. No snacks. Yep. Snacks.
No snackety snack.
All right. All sessions are 1 hour long, and it's going to be a 6-week program.
I like this one.
If you are late for one session, you're strictly an observer for that session. You cannot give any type of feedback. You cannot participate until it comes time for you to make your 3 commitments at the very end, which we'll get to the 3 commitments here in a second.
This just builds that muscle of respect the people that you have. Typically, a lot of realtors, even including myself in my career, I was late to a meeting or a couple minutes late, and you think about it, you're really just disrespecting everyone else's time. So this goes along with what the whole point of this, which is to try and get people more commitment driven and committed to being there on time. Maybe not for them, but what about the other 9 people that are in the group? And I like that one. Yeah, what happens when you show up late to a listing appointment?
Right.
Probably not going to get the job. So I think it's pretty cool how it does. People do respect it. And, we've had people that we know struggle in our groups right now that struggle with getting places on time, and they're on time now. So the first week we had a little sketchy with a few people, but they once they couldn't participate, and the group was the one who enforced that. It's not even me. The group enforces that, and it's they are literally an observer.
Well, that's the other part. What this does is the leaders leading leaders. This puts a check in that box.
Yeah.
Because we're rising tides lifts all ships. Everyone now has a voice, and everyone is encouraged to give this feedback in a constructive manner. So everyone's kind of growing in their own way of leadership.
Yep.
That's really powerful with the timing is that you can reframe it for people. That what is that? What kind of message are you sending to your kids? If you're teaching them it's okay to be late, right? Modeling that behavior, that it's okay to be late. What does that mean to your kids? What are you?
Right.
Well, which leads us to the next rule, which is
if you're late twice, you're out of the group.
Love it.
Yep. So that one speaks for itself. So this next one, I didn't understand exactly what it was. I'll be completely transparent about that. It's literally there's no side talk. And I'm thinking, all right, what does this mean? No talking, after the group's done, behind the scenes. It's actually no side talk for when you're in the meeting itself. Because it's very easy when you get a group of eight or 10 people, there's an idea or something that's struggling with, and then you're trying to take care of that. It goes in a different direction, and there's 2 or 3 people that are still moving on with that conversation amongst themselves. There is zero side talk. And some people just have to get called out because that's just what they do. But I get that now, and I see how having that and making that an actual foundation and making it known, people respect it. So last 2 are the biggest ones. So each person will make 3 specific, they're going to be measurable and actionable commitments. They're going to declare them publicly to the group, and they're going to be held accountable for them during the next session. All right, but how can they be held accountable? Not only, in the time leading up to the next session, is each person's going to have an accountability partner, and it rotates every week. So each week is going to be different, and they're going to agree to check in with each other every single day, whether it's text or phone call. I mean, I prefer phone call, but I get it sometimes, whether it's text or phone call. The beauty of that is when I don't have to check in with the people anymore. I can with a specific person when I have a one-on-one coaching call with them. Hey, how'd you do? It's a little bit different atmosphere when I can check in with an accountability partner and literally say, hey, how's John doing? With his commitments, and I'm going to get complete feedback from somebody else. And what organically happens, it just happened the other day when I'm walking through the office. I get people actually grabbing me, pulling me aside, saying, here are my commitments, and here's where I'm at with them. Look, I want to read this book. I'm this far, into my book. It's pretty cool just getting the feedback, because that's what's going to happen.
I think when you work with an agent long enough, and it's such a personal relationship as much as it is a professional relationship, when you get used to something, it's easier to give somebody an excuse, like when Joel was just doing only one-on-ones and we didn't have these accountability groups. I mean, they know they're going to, they know, well, yeah, I can just give Joel an excuse, whatever. But it's a little bit of a different game change when one of their own peers sees, okay, you're not keeping your commitment, and they get just a little bit more serious about making sure they don't want to screw that up, right? Because they know that next week, not only are they going to have to answer to Joel, and Joel's such a nice guy, like he ain't going to come down on somebody really, really hard, but at the end of the day, when you have 9 other people in the room and their accountability partner says, nope, I didn't do it. It's incredible. I mean, they swallow it and say, nope, I didn't do it. And I'm not giving an excuse. And I think this is where the next part that'll answer Nikki's question as to how we handle that. So, so we can get this. We have them sign this, by the way.
What is that called, Al?
This is the foundation. This right here, the 15-point foundation. You can call them the rules, but we call it the foundation of these groups. This is the framework. This is the outline that we follow, that everybody agrees to.
And
you can call it an agreement.
That's the agreement. That's the
agreement.
They sign it.
They sign it. And And so the next, sensible question that Nikki answered was, if you don't ask them why, well, how do you hold them accountable? And again, it comes down to just, language patterns and questions. And so if somebody says, my commitment was I wanted to do 5 90-minute call blocks, and I didn't get it done. Instead of saying, well, why didn't you get it done, Al? You change your language pattern and you ask them, well, Al, in the realm of all that was possible, could you have kept the commitment? So in the realm of all those possible, or was there something that came up that there was no way you could have avoided it? And because sometimes there is. I mean, maybe their child got sick. Maybe they had to, you know what I mean? There's a life does happen. And when life happens, that can pull you away from your commitments. It can be completely out of your control. But here's what we found. 90% of the time, they were able to keep the commitment, and they just stumbled. And so the next question is to say, no, well, yeah, I could have kept the commitment. The next question would be, well, what did you learn about yourself by not keeping the commitment? And then just let them answer. Now, this is a little deep, and I think that people can decide how deep you want to go on this, and you have to do it with the right context. But the next question could be, if I would have put $1 million on your desk and said, if you do this, you can have this, do you think you would have kept the commitment? And if you get a yes on that, Chef Black says you maybe want to check your values. So basically you could have done it, but you didn't have enough motivation to keep your commitment. And what we're doing right now is not trying to call them out or embarrass them or anything, but it's about that self-discovery piece. When they self-discover it, it's going to stick more versus you just telling them. The next question is, are you willing to recommit? Are you willing to recommit to the commitment? And if the answer is yes, it always goes back to if, what, by, when. So it's always what, by, when, as Joel kind of went over, specific and actionable by obviously the next time frame. It's we for years tried to manage people, and look where that look at the messes that we dipped into try and manage people. But what this is it's a system that we can manage. We can manage the system. We can manage these groups, and it's the system that creates the culture, which I never pieced those two pieces of the puzzle together. Everybody wants great culture, and everybody wants to hold their people accountable. But what we see in some of the big brokerages, and I'm not calling one particular brokerage out. It could be a big market center. It could be a Remax. The leadership is always afraid to hold their agents accountable, even though that's what they need, mainly because they don't want to lose them. And because it turns into a judgment at the end of the day. Why didn't you keep? It's better. Let's not upset the apple cart.
Right.
So their thing is like let them not be accountable. Let them not be committed. But as long as they're stroked and happy, we could have maybe some good culture. What this does is it checks two boxes. It checks the box of accountability and be able to hold them, and change to a commitment-driven organization. But the biggest thing is the culture.
The culture creates itself. I mean, that's the neat thing. And so one of the challenges we were having was we were trying to police the culture too much, and you cannot police the culture. The culture has to police itself. And that's what these groups do. Right. And the questions that you're asking them, they're powerful questions, and it actually, not that I'm looking for a lighter payload, but it's amazing seeing how the peers get involved when you do start asking these questions. Did you have a commitment? Were you able to hold the commitment? What got in the way? How do you feel about yourself, or what did you learn about yourself? Was there anything in your power that you could have done to hold that commitment, and are you ready to recommit? And what's funny is that they do talk about it, and then the peers jump in. Hey, what about this? Just today, it was somebody committed to, this was not a business commitment, it was an exercise commitment. And they're like, they put a time on it every single day. They wanted to put a time limit on it that they wanted to work out for, I think, 30 minutes each day. And the question was, you were committed to that. Were you able to hold your commitment? Well, I don't know. I think so, but I don't know if it was 30 minutes. And the group jumped in. Do you have a Fitbit? Yeah. Okay. Go charge it. Get it on. And it's something even as simple as that, but seeing the group's interaction, they're smart. They've been through it. They're the ones in the trenches, and that's what I've learned is their answers are sometimes better than mine.
So the commitments don't have to be all business related. They can be personal as well. So it's just commitments that they're committing to for the week.
It's their commitment.
But here's what's going to happen. They're going to start getting their ass called out because, it's so along the lines what Al was saying, I think is going to answer Nikki's question too a little bit more is it's not why, it's how can you make everything a question? And it's okay to think about your question before you answer it. That's another thing that I learned. It's not spitting right back out like, I'm very used to doing. It's thinking about the question in their situation. And when they keep making goals that are not moving the needle in their real estate business, it's basically, let me ask you this. Do you feel that these commitments that you're making are going to help you towards your goals in your real estate business? And if they say yes, hey, I appreciate that answer. Would you mind me getting the group's opinion on this?
Mm-hmm.
And then the group will chip in and let the culture police itself at that point.
It's permission based.
Right.
And if anybody is listening to this and you're a single agent, you don't have a big team or you got a smaller team, whatever, you can be the facilitator of one of these groups by just finding a group of people who are, who want to be held accountable. Our leadership team, which we also included some people from appointments today, the leadership team there, and our mortgage guys that lease some space from us here, they're leaders as well. So we're not just saying, hey, you guys should do this. We have the leadership team has our own accountability group that we do, and we hold each other accountable as well. And I love it. I mean, I don't know anyone who's more consistent than you, John. I mean, you're Mr. Consistency. I mean, posting on the accountability. But I committed to. I'll tell you my 3 commitments for the week is I've decided my flexibility has been the worst part of my fitness for forever, and I've been saying for years I need to do this. I should do it. So I declared it publicly that 3 times a week I'm going to hit yoga, and I don't want to go back in that room next week and sit in front of these 8 of my peers. They're all leaders, and tell them that I fail. I ain't going to do it. But if it was one person, I'd be like, he ain't going to really get on my butt too much. But that the pressure that creates, but it's a healthy pressure. And I think the biggest thing to remember is that everything that all the suggestions that come from this group are coming from love. That's the best part. This is because if they didn't care, they probably aren't going to say anything.
Right.
Accountability is the highest form of love, and keeping that in mind that we're not there to jump on anybody. Because I tell you that if you mess that part up, I think that it defeats the entire purpose. People are not going to want to participate in these. So the person who we would say normally is Joel as the leader of these, he's actually not the leader. He's the facilitator. Everybody's on the same page. And our job as leaders is to facilitate the best environment for success. We're not going to be able to motivate anybody to do it. But if we can provide the platform, provide the structure, and facilitate the best environment, they will then police it themselves. They will then hold each other accountable, which is so much more powerful than one person saying, why didn't you make your calls?
Yeah,
that's what I experienced after just one session myself.
Yeah, and as a leader, it's still a reflection of how you show up. It goes back to the judge-free zone, and I think that is the agents that are part of this group. They see that, right, and they see that they're in a different environment than a one-on-one environment, and that helps tremendously.
Have you guys done any? So we got. I want to answer a question for Anthony and Nikki. I think you guys gave some context, maybe be able to answer it. But real quick, before we address those questions, when you guys did you guys do any type of vulnerability exercises to let ego drop, everybody play all out? Did you kind of set that stage to really get everybody to buy in and be vulnerable to play all out prior to, or has that just been a collection over time?
No, I did not. I mean, we had a little intro at our company meeting when everybody signed the sheet of paper. You know, and there was, like Al said, you know, he got them all bought in. He gave a little, I guess one of the things that we were told to do is play the Reggie Miller video, the 8 or 9 seconds. You know, what was it? Eight points in 9 seconds or something like that. And yeah, I think it was 8 minutes, and then
8 points in 9 seconds or something. Like, how could Reggie Miller score 8 points in 9 seconds to win the game? And you know, I would suggest that everybody YouTube it, because that's what we did. We had everyone pull their phone out, watch that, and then as a group ask them the question: if it was true that Reggie Miller scored 8 points in 9 seconds to win that game, then if you do the math, and there's 48 minutes of a basketball game, I think.
Yep.
Then why couldn't a team score 1,000 points if it's, you know what I mean? Like if you know, or 2,000 points, it's something obnoxious, right? Like, so do you think, who thinks that you can score that 2,000 points in a game? Everyone's like, no, there's no way. Well, then how come Reggie Miller, how was he able to do it? It's because he had a specific target. He was going to be held publicly accountable to the result, and there was a time limit on it.
Right.
And he was committed. And he was committed. And so that was kind of the lesson. But I know where you're going. I think it would be a great, if you can throw out to the group a couple exercises. I know where you're going, because you actually set the stage of every mastermind we do with that vulnerability exercise.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, so this kind of led into Anthony and Nikki's question along the lines of, do you just create these groups for your team, or can you also incorporate them into the people you're sponsoring into your downline that you're bringing on board? And so I was like, man, you know, absolutely. Yes, you could, this is like what you described with your leadership team, bringing in, you know, Matt and appointments today, bringing in the mortgage people. And so I just think that, you know, it's really critical. And if you guys that are listening, you want to, you know, understand what we're talking about, just anything Patrick Lencioni, the 5 dysfunctions of a team, you know, the book that Clayton Mask recommended us. I can't even think of it right now, but it sat on the bookshelf for 2 years. That's all I remember, and we should have read it right away. But anything Patrick Lencioni, he talks about the vulnerability exercises to everybody to lower their guard. So I would recommend looking into some of that. It doesn't have to be that detailed that he talks about, but at least some stuff to kind of lower the barrier, get everybody vulnerable, and like what Joel and Al were talking about, being able to play all out.
Yep. I mean, obviously this works really well when you're actually physically in the same room. Because we were saying, well, could we do, because we have some people that live an hour and a half away from our office, and they're driving in.
Sure are.
Because Shep was like, no, it doesn't really work that well that way. So if you find that you're someone where you don't have people in your downline and in your local group of agents, I'll tell you what, facilitating one of these is a deposit into the relationship bank account that we've talked about, which is how we've built EXP and our entire Honey Badger group. We've done it through deposits, just like what we're watching right now is a deposit. If you're able to facilitate one of these with other agents and other brokerages, you know what I mean? Like, how powerful do you think that would be?
I'll go deeper there, man, because I just want to make sure everybody gets, because you've been preaching this for a long time, and I just want everybody to catch what you're talking about, right? Making deposits. Can you go a little bit deeper for everybody? Just kind of, talk about.
I mean, going into, what would be one of the potential goals, or what process would you try to follow in just, recruiting real estate agents in your local area? And one would be making deposits. And when we talk about making deposits, we talk about, training or giving more value to the local real estate agents that are at other brokerages more than what their broker or team leader are giving them.
Right.
So if you believe anything that you're seeing right here, and you know, this isn't us preaching it from a book. We're actually doing this, and we're seeing the results, and we're seeing our agents walking out with goosebumps and in tears, because not because they're upset, because they're having breakthroughs in their businesses. What if you were to take the same concept and call a few of your fellow agents who maybe they're looking to grow? Obviously, you probably would not want to invite anyone who's not a grower. If they're not a grower themselves, then you're gonna probably get some bad feedback. But you want growers, so you know, put a list of 15 together. Try to get 10 of them to say yes, and say, hey, we want to do an experiment. It's called, you know, call them self-directed work group or accountability group, 100 still whatever, and you be the facilitator of it and watch what happens. And you know, this doesn't have to be, you know, within an EXP thing. I think that, you know, you'd be providing a huge value, aka a deposit, into the relationship bank account of these people. And let me tell you, this happens not on a surface. What we're talking about is affinity, right? And when you're trying to sell something to somebody, not to say that this is the reason, but the first goal before anybody is going to listen to you about EXP or anything like that is you have to have some kind of an affinity, meaning they have to trust you. You have to have maybe some authority, show some leadership, aka you do this through deposits. What better way through accountability, which is the highest form of love? I'll repeat it again, in this 100 format that you could do to really touch somebody on a deeper level and literally change, you know, their whole trajectory of how they operate on a weekly and daily basis, because you help them form a habit that's life-changing. It could be, like you said, weight loss. I mean, some people are always talking about waiting for the end of the year, you know, to set that. It is not about a New Year's resolution. It's about what can we do consistently every day and put it into the routine, so that it's just what you do. John Kitchens doesn't think about, should I work out today or not? Nope, he's up. He gets his run in, he gets his bike in. It's part of his day. And if it's like brushing your teeth. If you don't do it, then you just feel weird. And so that's how I feel if I don't work out. Joel, I know Joel's now running and he's getting a couple miles in every morning. And I don't know what the formula is, but you have to do something for a certain period of time before it becomes a habit. It's 21 days.
It's longer. It's different than that. There's all kinds of science out there that
There's science in it. But the bottom line is you're helping somebody create a habit. And the goal would be a healthy habit. Right. And whether that's buckling down and making the calls that they know they may need to make, helping them time block certain things, even time block time with their kids or their wife, or making sure they get a date night in every single week. These are going to be having huge impacts in their lives. This isn't about, like, you know, going out and selling another house or figuring out how I can sell 100 or 200 and go from 100 to 200 houses. You get that result from being committed and consistent. So I think that's really the foundation of what we're trying to build off of. Right?
Yeah. How you show up in life is how you practice.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's, you know, we all have habits, right? So it's just what you guys are doing with this on a scale is reinforcing good habits. And, you know, it's like I said, we all have habits. It's either good or bad. It's our choice. And what this does is it reinforces the good habits and their commitments. And, you know, they're, you know, I hope some of them fail, right? Through the process, you know, week over week. So they learn from that. So that reinforces, you know, oh, okay, got it. You know, that really helps them continue to push themselves to a higher level. So I think it's fantastic. It really is, and allows you to scale and not consume somebody with one-on-ones. You know, it's impossible, right? To have that many in that type of dynamic at the growth that you guys are at, and a lot of folks listening in, the growth that they're at as well.
Yeah, stop trying to manage people. Start managing a system that manages people, and then watch your culture start to turn around, and watch the people who, you know, have been hiding behind that victim cape They can't hide anymore. You know what I mean? And it's real tricky. That's why I think there's such genius in whoever created this system. This is not our system. You know, I don't know where John. I'm sure John heard it from someone else too. But like, you know, this is definitely one of those. How do you hold someone accountable without, you know, coming across as like throwing the hammer down on them? You know, and what'll happen is one of two things: they're going to get committed, or they're not. And I'll tell you this, when they're not, our obligation of leaders is to coach them up or coach them out, because they're either going to, you know, I don't believe that anyone has time to commit to someone who's not committed. It's really that simple. And I think this has just been probably, I mean, of 2018, probably one of the biggest swing, you know, the tiny hinges that swing large doors. This has been one of them for us, for sure.
I would agree. I would agree. And, you know, coach them up or coach them out. You got to remember, you know, you can't want it more than they want it for themselves. And so this is the framework that you give them, and it's all about processes, right? And it's the process, and just manage the process. And like you said, it'll help them get clear. And maybe they're at a stage in their life to where they're not ready to grow. And that that'll grow, that'll push them out of your ecosystem and just make your culture that much stronger.
Yeah, success. If you manage the process, success is going to come, right? There's no shortcut to victory or success.
Right.
It's all part of, I feel that it's honing in, we're professionals. So it's honing in our skills. That's what this is doing amazingly. And it goes back to, I always use like the golf analogy, and I still got to get out with you, John. And I heard you're a pretty good golfer, but you know, pros practice like they play. Amateurs do not, right? And we're professionals. So when I go out and have a couple beers on the course and I'm hacking it up with my buddies, I'm not practicing like I play, right? So I think that's what professionals done. And when they're making micro commitments, these 3 commitments every single week, it's, you know, they're getting victories from it, they're gaining confidence, and they're gaining momentum in their business, no matter where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And it shows up in their personal life. I mean, I really think the biggest shift is that we used to always try to work on people to help them grow their business, because that's what we're doing, right? We're in business with them. But when we help them, you know, have wins like Joel was talking about on the personal level, it moves mountains. I mean, they're getting these wins. It doesn't have anything to do with real estate. It has everything to do with human behavior.
Yeah.
And that was just a big shift.
Well, even when you talk about the personal level, if they're struggling at holding their commitments on their business, what else? You know, where else is that showing up?
And that's a question too. So, you know, if they're coming back into your 100-0 accountability groups, consistently not hitting their commitments, that's another question. May I go deeper with you? Well, sure. Where else in your life is this not showing up? And get them aware. Really, that's all we're really trying to do. We're not trying to judge. We're not trying to even call them out, although that's kind of what we're doing. It's really just making them understand that all we're here to do is make them aware. There's actually a really great quote in here somewhere. Where was it? About here, you can come back to me on this one.
It's what you're doing right there. You're talking about it. It's you cannot make a choice until you have that awareness, and that's what you're helping them do. And it's always layers deeper, guys. Right? If they're not hitting their sales numbers, what else is going on? Right?
Yeah.
It is always layers deeper. And this is a framework. This is a process that allows you to really flush that out and flush it out for themselves. And, you know, I love that you put your 100-0 on it. And, you know, I've always looked at 100-0 similar to what, you know, Jocko talks about in extreme ownership. It's like, you could always, what else could, you know, what could I have done differently? You could always do something, right? I could have trained him a little bit better. I could have made him more aware. And that you guys have a framework now that you're really able to tap in and help people become more aware, so they're making better decisions.
Yeah. And you know, with regard to that awareness, we want them to have conscious thoughts about their unconscious behavior. Because when they're not hitting their commitments, I don't believe that they're making conscious decisions not to hit their commitments. This is just the unconscious behavior of what they're going through. But if they become aware and they're conscious of what they're doing and having conscious thoughts, like, you know, if it's the fact that they committed to getting into that gym and doing yoga, and now I'm consciously, I'm now, at least I'm aware and I'm having a conscious thought about what I just unconsciously blew off. I don't believe that people are, you know, they're ready to roll out of bed and say, I'm ready to blow off all my commitments. I believe that they have a bad habit that they formed, and now that bad habit, it's still a habit, whether it's good or bad, it's still a habit, and they're unconsciously behaving this way. I don't believe that they're consciously saying, I'm going to leave this meeting and then not, you know, come out. It's having that awareness. And I guess I'll just kind of leave with one more thing is, you know, going back to this question-based of asking permission. The best answer is their answer. So it's what's going inside their head. What does that say? What were the cues? I missed it.
So we'll come back. I mean, Don was wanting us some examples of how we could introduce this to outside agents. And then Jeff was asking what are the questions that you ask if they don't hit their commitments?
Yeah, the questions we would, you know, I'll go back to those questions real quick and just kind of go through them. But the first question is, you know, in the realm of all that was possible, could you have kept your commitment? So again, sometimes things just come up where there's no possible way. My grandmother fell ill and I had to drop everything I was doing to do this. And, you know, there was no possibility because life in that instance got in the way. Now, if they're coming up with an excuse a new one, well, we know then, you know, that's the pattern. And what we know is they're just not committed. Right. But we don't have to tell them that they're not committed. It's week after week that they're having that self-discovery. Well, you know, I think I'd really like to do this, but I'm really not committed to it because something keeps coming up. But in the realm of all possibilities, could you have kept the commitment? And I think 8 or 9 out of 10 times out of 10, they're going to say, yeah, I could have. Yeah. And the next question would be, well, you know, what did you learn about yourself by not keeping the commitment? And again, this is going back to awareness. What did I learn about myself? Well, I learned that I equate pain to working out, or I start to get busy doing things that are unproductive, so I blow off my call blocker, or you know, but they're starting to be conscious about these unconscious thoughts. And right. Then, you know, the next question is, are you willing to recommit? Answer is yes or no. Maybe they decide, you know what, this isn't a commitment I'm ready to make right now. That's fine. It's their commitment. But I hope that answered that question. I don't know who asked it.
Yeah, Jeff asked that. I think that was good. So give Don a couple examples of how, you know, because you talked about making deposits within, you know, within your community, real estate community or whatever. What would be a good way to go about possibly introducing that?
There's a number of ways. I would say that if you're someone who's comfortable with putting an Eventbrite together and inviting a bunch of the people that you all know to you know, to a place to kind of discuss this and see who would like to participate in an accountability group, and kind of using that story of who in the room feels that they need more ninja tips, tricks, scripts, dialogues, or you know, guru insights to grow their business, and then who feels like they just need more accountability to do the stuff that they already know. And I believe that the latter is going to get more of the arms raised. And what that did was they just all bought in. Remember, their answer is the best answer. So that's their answer. And so once that happens, they can all volunteer to get into this. And, you know, you kind of have a case study, not just with us, that we're getting massive results from a group of, you know, a team of 36 agents when 99% of them all are participating in this, including the leadership. And as leaders, by participating in doing this with them, everybody needs accountability. I don't care, where you stand on in a position in your company, whether you're an agent. Everybody can be a leader. I know that Chris Lindahl, who's also part of that mastermind group, huge team, really great team and agents. They had one of their agents, instead of like with Joel, he's the facilitator. They had one of their top agents step up and say, I want to lead one. I want to facilitate one of these. And so I think that's one way. The other way, if you didn't want to go and do an event around it or whatever, and have a title company sponsor something, you could also just go with your sphere, go into your phone, find all the real estate agents that you like in the area and say, hey man, I'm putting this thing together. They ain't going to cost anything, totally volunteer. I know I need more accountability. Would you be involved? If they say no, then they're not the person you want in that room. It shouldn't be a very hard sell. You want like-minded people who understand that they need that accountability. One of the best examples is daily accountability. Talk about a platform that Mike Reese created that's all love. Everybody loves on everybody in there. There's zero judgment going on. And what's that gym? What's the gym? Planet Fitness. I used to belong to a Planet Fitness, and it said no judgment zone. And I thought that was kind of cool, Now I understand the why behind why it's so powerful. Right. Is that no one's here to judge you. The fact that you got your butt out of bed and walked through those doors and into the gym is extremely powerful. Because
powerful. It is, man. It really is. Yeah. There's nothing more powerful than that accountability. And accountability is also the last driving force for change. And so if you guys are wanting to change, you've got to have that accountability there to help, tie it all together. So that's awesome. Any final things as we wrap up here for everybody?
I love the idea and the question regarding how do you get it for, start one of these groups for outside your brokerage. So, I think that you have to hit them from a perspective of fear, logic, gain. That's what we're always taught. And if you let them know that, hey, you're probably successful in 2018, but could you have been more successful? Do you need more accountability, more discipline, more commitments in your life? Well, here's what's been radically successful for us. And what I want to do is to do a little trial period and see if it works, see if we can help you out. And then, like Al said, throw the Eventbrite out there. But I think it's a phenomenal
idea. Yeah.
I think, man, when you got an accountability partner that's scary like this guy, look at this face. You don't want to face this guy the next week.
Come on. I got to work on my beard game instead of you guys.
It,
I feel left out.
I think everybody has a different threshold for accountability. I'm the type of person, the way I'm wired, I need that kick in the butt. I need someone to jar me a little and call me out on my bullshit. I beg him to do it. And once in a while, I'll do it, but it's so much powerful when there's 8 other people in there, where it doesn't have to fall on one.
Right. It is. Well, awesome, man. I appreciate you both. Amazing call. And thank you for always adding value and really being true expert mentors and adding a ton of value to everybody on the call today. And for all of you guys listening, make sure you guys give lots of love to Al and Joel. We'll get this call reposted into the Facebook group. Man, drop your comments. I know it means a lot to us, your biggest takeaways, and also give the guys some love. I appreciate you. Thank you guys. And keep the land tight. Let's
Honey Badger Nation.
All right. We'll see you.
Love y'all.
Thanks.
See ya.
See you, Johnny.